Hi there, and welcome back to the channel. So, I was planning on tracking today, but it's taken me longer to get everything set up exactly the way I want to, so I just decided to make an old school instructional video because I haven't really done that much lately. Mainly I've been just tracking in front of people, and I find that rewarding because people are so nice and say wonderful things and want to get involved and all that kind of cool stuff, so it's awesome. But tonight I am just the stress of trying to get this part together for the camera I think is too overwhelming. I need another. I've been working on this thing forever. I'm like, man, when am I going to ever get this thing? It's just a little trickier than usual for me to track. I don't know why, just the timing thing. And usually I have like a drum track to play to, and this time I'm just playing to like a visual metronome, and then I'm going to track the drums to that, which I think is going to work quite well because I've been practicing to the little scratch guitar track that I have there, and I don't have any problems. So I'm doing that consecutively. So I'm like working on the guitar and the drums at the same time because I'm hoping as soon as I track this guitar, I'm hoping by tomorrow I can just move to drums and get that together. So I had some realizations since the last time I tracked guitar. I was kind of running through several tunes, and I wouldn't go and check them that much. I would just make sure everything was okay, get like a rough mix, move to the next tune, and then I did some mixes on camera and didn't notice it there because those mixes are more like, let's get everything ready to go, and then I'm going to go back in later, fine tune, and hit record play. And that's what I did the other day on all 6 songs that I have completed, which was also nice. For some reason I thought I only had 5, but I have 6, and then this one's going to be number 7, and then it's only 2 more to get to 9, which was my original goal, but who knows, I might have a third one and just make it 10, but I kind of saw the number 9 for some reason as the number of tracks. Don't ask me why. So I'm excited to get close to the finish line. But I did notice when I was going back and doing those recordings to send to band members, to start working on the songs or whichever ones they might want to work on, I noticed some distortion on a little guitar bit. Luckily it's very minimal, and while I've got this set up to track, I can go ahead and fix that, because I was going to fix it before, but I decided to wait until I got everything set up. And then there's a little bass part that I discovered, very minimal, but I just brought the bass up here so I would have it whenever I'm doing this. I can just quickly grab those things. But I wanted to make this video an admonition on tracking too hot. So I've been working my way up to tracking hotter and hotter and hotter just because you get that better signal. But I was reminded by those 2 moments, the bass going, and it was really annoying because I was trying to find it. Go to each, all right, turn everything off. Is it in the drums? No, because the thing that really, is no good about distortion in this environment is that it's unlistenable. Like, so back in the day when I was working on tape machines, or when we go to a big time studio and record on tape, my understanding and my experience is that you don't want to distort in that environment either. You want to, push your levels as hot as you can, not going over, of course, because you get distortion. But on tape, like with drums, it's almost like you can't hear it. It's like, I'm sure you could hear it, and if you kept pushing it, it'd get ridiculous. But you wouldn't hear it in the same way that you would digital. That type of distortion, it just gets hotter and like compresses more. Like I said, there's limits, but overall, you don't have to worry about it to the same extent when you're working in analog on tape. And you can also, kind of massage it more, like work with it in the mix. Whereas with digital distortion, once it happens, it sounds like an electric cable gone haywire, and it's like static. It's not it's not compression or anything like that. It's that it would be in any way pleasing to the ear or have any kind of euphony. This is just noise, and it's unacceptable. And I just could not find it, so I'd isolate the drums. Is it in there? Nope, not in the drums. Go to the bass. Yeah, I think I found it. And then later no, it's not the bass. It must be the guitars. Back and forth you go. So make sure. Number 1 admonition with this little video is to make sure that you're not tracking too hot. So, couple things to keep in mind. Alright, here's what's going on with the zoom. I usually don't track guitars with any kind of effects. You might find that you want to put some compression on it, and do whatever. There's all kinds of effects in the effects bank. You could add distortion or whatever. I would not do that. If you have a really good sounding guitar and a good sounding amplifier, or some kind of digital apparatus that sounds good that you're going direct into, and you want to send the signal out that way, that's what I would do, as opposed to any effects. Just because you're not getting a very pure signal, and you may not like the effect later, and there's no way to remove it once it's on your recording. So first thing I do, get these mics equidistant from the speaker. Otherwise you're going to have serious phase issues, and once you have phase issues like that, it's garbage. Really annoying too. Like, you get a really good take, you come over here and you start going, why is this track way softer than this track? And when I turn this one up, this one goes down, and when I turn this one up, this one goes down. That's how you know you're out of phase, if it's like all wonky, the two tracks. When you're done, you should have both tracks registering the same amount of output. So the lights should be consistent at the same time, not one going up and one going down. All right, so the way I do it's a real simple method. It's not the easiest thing to do, but it's simple in execution. All right, so I make this little 8-inch mark here. I've been told by many famous well-known engineers that that's a good place to put the guitar. A lot of times you'll see an SM57 like right here, and then a mic out here or whatever. I've just found that I get a really good sound from being a little bit away from here using ribbon mics. This one's going to a preamp to give me a little more signal. This one's going directly to the zoom to just do the zoom. That way they have a little different characteristic in the recording. Plus, inside of the cabinet, this one is an Alnico speaker. No, wait, this one is a ceramic speaker. It's a Celestion G12H30. This one is a Alnico speaker, and it's the Celestion Blue speaker. This one puts out 15 watts. This one puts out 30 watts. And so that right there gives you some variance in tone, almost like two different guitars going off. And then you can kind of pan these two signals. The way you do that, you go to Pan EQ, and you're going to have your center track. You go left 40 or 50, however you want to do it. And then the next track, you go right 40 or 50, however you want to do it. And you can also do it in the mix. So you can just record center and then move it in the mix. Especially with digital, that's all manipulative. That's a manipulation you can do after the fact in digital. That works. Okay, so we've got our equidistance, and I'm telling you, you got to have that exact, because and what I do is I have these marks here, right? So I put it just barely on the grill cloth, and then I'll line it up with the microphone here, and then I'm going to go over here and make sure it's sitting in the exact same spot, and it looks okay. I'm going to quadruple check that. But that's the general way I set it up. Now, like I said, one of those goes into, and I think it's the Alnico side, goes because I like a little more juice on that side. That speaker does not, it's 15 watts, and Alnico is a softer sounding magnet, so you don't get the as much. That's why I like to have both of them. The ceramic one delivers the punch, the Alnico delivers the euphony, the wonderful sounding kind of lovely tone. That speaker's incredible. I like all of those Alnico Celestion speakers, the blue one, the cream one, gold. They're terrific. Mark just bought, our guitar player just bought a 10-inch gold for his Princeton. Kept blowing up the original ones because he plays hard. So I recommended that gold. I think those are a little more sturdy than the old American, like the Jensens and the CTSs and the Oxfords. Those a wonderful sound. I love them. I've got 3 or 4 of them around here. Got one in a box, one in here, but they. They're breakies, they're fragile if you play really hard. Okay, so I've got one of the signals going into an MS1B, this rain, and I'm gonna have to mess around with the levels, but you got a hotter level here, maybe like a 10 or 11, and then because of that, I don't need as much action over here with the gain, but I do bring this gain up a bit so that I get plenty of input on the headphones. And just to get like a balance between the two preamps. Seems to work okay. You do not need any kind of additional preamp. I just use one because I have found that the Zoom has a little bit of wimpy tone, I mean wimpy output, so I double a lot of stuff. All my drums, I do 4 mics with drums and then double them. If I have a bass track that I've recorded and it doesn't sound robust enough, I just put another one side next to it and, you know, mix accordingly. It just gives it more tone. I might turn those two out like 50-50, you know, it just seems to spread the bass around a little bit more. Those kind of little tricks with the Zoom give you more sound. All right, so once I get a hot signal, that's what I wanted to talk about because of the distortion issues I had. You know, you don't want to get much, I think it's like -6 or whatever. Yeah, -6. Basically on these, so let me just talk about this real quick because I've noticed this on other people's videos whenever they're showing Zoom stuff that I found fascinating. I can't remember, this is a long time ago, but I remember seeing a guy's video where he would show no distortion here on the output. So on your master, that was looking good. It's hitting, you know, you're lighting up all the way to the yellow, but you're not peaking and hitting red. Staying right there in that hot zone, that -6 zone. Everything's fine. But on the actual track, you could notice that it was peaking. Every once in a while, you go to the drums, and the drums would be the only place you might be able to hide some of that. Anywhere else, if the track itself is peaking, even if you don't see peaking on the master, you could be in trouble later. And that's what happened with me. The master was fine, but when I played back, I could see that the individual track at a certain point was pushing into distortion. I went and looked at the track in Audacity just to see if there's anything I can do, and if it's recorded hot, you're only going to do is bring the volume down. If you bring the level down, the gain level down, you're not going to change the sound. The sound is still there. You're not avoiding, it's not pushed too hot, and you're just hearing it too hot. You actually recorded a distorted signal. So, extra care on that. In fact, that's going to be the name of the game for me. I'm going to see more movement, and that instead of recording with it completely colored in, I want to see a little more movement in that -6, you know, with the yellow kind of coming in and out, just so that I'm not hammering the whole time. And when I least expect it, because I'm immersed in recording and immersed in the song, there's a little push over the edge that messes up the whole track, or makes it where you got to come back in and patchwork, and I hate that. Because it's really difficult to recreate, you know, the sound, the tone, the vibe after you've laid down stuff to come in and fix it later. Gets tricky. So, extra care with the levels, and part of that is just getting your microphone set up correctly, not trying to push the volume too far, and then consistent playing. Because if you're peaking, if you're hitting, you know, notes really hard, everything has to be you know, at its best, operating at its highest level in order to not have these types of screw-ups. All right, so let me just see what happens when I plug all this in. I don't have my headphones out, but I'll at least just try to get a level real quick on camera, and then I'm going to let you go because there's no way I can take the pressure of trying to track this right now. All right, hold on one second. Okay, so I got the headphones on, started getting comfortable with the mix, and I've made an executive decision to remove the MS1B from the chain. That might be what was causing my distortion, because I noticed that one of the channels wasn't as bad as the other one. Because what happens is, like I said, one speaker is Alnico, this one I may be getting mixed up. I'd have to follow the cabling, but I believe this is the Alnico one. And it has less output than this one does. Yeah, because this is the ceramic side. This one has a little more output than this one, so you have to, you know, accommodate that. But I made sure my master was on 100. That needs to be up there. My channel strips I like to have at 100, and now my gain is at noon on the Alnico side, and noon on the ceramic side, this side, and it's like 1 o'clock on the Alnico side, just because that one needs a little more heat on the signal. And no effects. So that has eliminated a lot of fear and trepidation going into recording this, because I think what was happening is I was getting a little hot, because usually I only use the MS-1B with the with the large diaphragm condenser, because I need phantom power, and that's typically the only reason. I was doing it to just get a little something extra, but man, right then I was going to have to turn that way down and then this way down to try to, you know, fight the red light popping on. Also, you get this gain, you know, this peak light here, and even if you look good with your signals, if you see that peak light, I don't recommend tracking, because, like I said, it's been really annoying to find the distortion in my tracks. So, in the spirit of avoiding that, I have now gone straight to the board, and I'll just show you what I'm up against here, and maybe we can decide which pickup to use. So I was like, usually I use this special one because it sounds so wonderful. And friend of the channel, Kay Mazer, we've talked a lot about pickup choices. The middle pickup, that was Clapton's pickup. He just kind of sits in the middle, and I've got these Lawler pickups. The neck one has kind of like a telly bite, and the bridge one's that special bridge. It has like a real kind of thick presentation. So I'm not sure what I need to do. Do I need it to bite, or do I need it to be like, you know, thick? Alright, so let's just see the choices. One would be kind of Les Pauly. The bridge would be kind of like that thick Les Paul tone, and then the neck would be more Fender Telly tone, Telly-ish tone. I mean, it's Strat all the way, but that's the only way I can differentiate it for the listener. Alright, so let's just see. Here's the riff, and you'll see why I'm kind of dreading tracking it, because there's lots of room for error playing this kind of thing. Wait, let me just put these on just for a tiny bit of ear protection. It's not really good to be playing in here without headphones, I mean without some kind of something. Okay, this is in the neck pickup. This is the bridge pickup, same kind of idea. Let's hear what the neck pickup sounds like in that little section. Sounds a little more devilish. Let's see what the middle pickup sounds like. think the neck pickup wins. It'll be interesting to see what if anyone has an opinion. Just because it has more like bite and presence for this tune. This tune's like, I don't know, it needs to be more nasty as opposed to more thick and like towards more of a pretty tone, like a I don't know, more soothing tone. This one I don't feel like it feels like it needs to bite. All right, so thank you for suffering along with me. I know this I didn't get anything done as far as recording goes, but hopefully all this thinking out loud is helping you with your projects as well, which is kind of the whole point. Is I've learned over the years at the age of 55 that the more effort you put into helping other people, the more things you do to like push things out, you know, towards others, as opposed to like keeping it all for yourself, the better. Like the more happy you are, the more content, and the less like consumed with like competition and jealousy and bitterness you are. That's my opinion. So I just want to help. If there's anything I can do, help you with your projects, interact, you know, in cool ways, let's do it. All right, so hopefully you're doing okay. You got your January off to a good start. Mine was a little rocky, you know, little this, little that. But I'm back, ready to rock, ready to get this record done, ready to play some shows, hopefully by the summertime, maybe, I don't know. Try to get out and like get on a stage somewhere. All right, next time.